Pre-order bonuses are little treats from publishers to early purchasing players to say, hey, thanks for buying this game early before the reviews came out and you could know with any certainty whether the game was any good or not. Back when people mostly pre-ordered games just to make sure their game shop would have a physical copy in stock for them, many of these bonuses were unique collectible trinkets of varying quality. Like the Super Street Fighter 4 finger puppets. Definitely not a thumbs up from me. Now, in the age of digital downloads where people don't need to pre-order to make sure they get a copy, many publishers offer digital pre-order bonuses to entice early purchasers. Sadly, these digital bonuses are also of varying quality and usefulness. Let's have a look at some of the digital pre-order bonuses that were more useless than Ken's eyebrow bleach. You're not fooling anyone, Ken.
The time is nigh. The world rests on the precipice of transformation.
Exclusive pre-order bonuses exploit people's FOMO, that is to say, their fear of missing outfits. Or at least that's specifically the case for Ghostwire Tokyo, which built its pre-order incentives around special outfits to make you look fashionable in its nightmare vision of futuristic Tokyo. These pre-order bonus items were the Biker Outfit Pack and the Hanya outfit. Hanya, despite being the antagonist of the game, clearly has the best outfit in all of Ghostwire Tokyo, so why wouldn't you want to look like him? The problem is, as you might have already spotted, Ghostwire Tokyo is a game played entirely in first person. For the majority of the game, all you ever see of protagonist Akito is his hands making gestures to cast spells. You simply cannot see what he is wearing at any given moment. Heck, Akito isn't even reflected in mirrors. Furthermore, this being a single-player game, Ghostwire Tokyo enjoyers don't even get to show off their fancy outfits to other players. The only time players see Akito in full is in photo mode and cutscenes, so what pre-order players actually got was some different looking cutscenes and some gloves. Aw man, the worst Christmas present.
Oh, there do I see my mother. Oh, there do I see my father. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
You might think that the way to avoid an embarrassing pre-order cosmetic snafu like Ghostwire Tokyo's is just to ensure your game is in third person. One third-person game that offered free cosmetic items to pre-order customers was the 2018 God of War. Alongside an XP boost, players got 3 free shield skins: the Buckler of the Forge, the Dokken Shielder, and the Shining Elven Soul Shield, which are incredibly badass names for the default shield in 3 different colours. I've got eyes, Sony Santa Monica. The special skins being merely a palette swap of the basic shield rather than something a bit more exclusive was annoying enough, but that wasn't the worst of it. Anyone who has played the game will remember that Kratos' shield has a very special feature. It unfolds from Kratos' gauntlet only when he needs to block an attack in a fight and is actually conveniently stored away for most of the game. This means that you only get brief glimpses of the shield in hectic battles, where your concentration is more centered on the enemies you need to crush than the color of your defensive disc. Many pre-order players probably won't have realized how little they would get to see their fancy pre-order shield in this all-new game. Which reminds me, if you pre-order our next video, you'll get the special bonus where we're all wearing green socks. You'll have to take our word for it.
We trusted you. Let you live among us. Now your friends are slaughtering the people they swore to protect.
If you're excited to play a game, then the earlier you get to play it, the better, surely? And if you were excited to play Suicide Squad because you didn't know any better at the time, then you might have been tempted by the special pre-order bonus that Warner Bros. Offered up to those players who paid for the more expensive Digital Deluxe Edition. This bonus was the chance to play the game 3 full days before anyone else.
Always wanted to do this.
This wasn't advertised as your regular old early access, where you pay for access to an unfinished alpha or beta build of a game. This was early launch access, meaning that players who pre-ordered would get to play the complete, ready-to-play and debugged game 3 whole days in advance of the proper launch date. Except, no they didn't. In the end, this digital pre-order bonus wasn't worth the paper it wasn't written on, because for much of the so-called early launch access period, the game wasn't working.
I thought working together would be a train wreck, and you do not disappoint!
Suicide Squad was not developer Rocksteady's first foray into the DC universe, this being, of course, the studio behind the wildly successful Batman Arkham series. But while Rocksteady are great at lots of things, like letting you punch clowns in the face, it turns out they were not adept at multiplayer live service games. Suicide Squad had to be taken down 1 hour into early launch access after some players logged into the game to find their story mode was somehow already completed. In order to fix this rather huge bug, Rocksteady had to take the game offline for several hours. Then, without explanation, the game went offline for a second time within 24 hours. Rocksteady didn't say why, but they did say they'd be logging everyone out and that the game would be offline until maintenance has been completed. This being an always online multiplayer game, players could therefore not play the game at all during this time, so they didn't get the full 72-hour early access to the game they had originally been sold. To be fair, Rocksteady did offer up compensation to these players who had shelled out over £100 for the deluxe edition. Some pretend money! Yay! Yes, instead of giving them an actual refund, pre-orderers of the deluxe edition instead received 2,000 Luthor coins, worth approximately £16, or $20 to our American viewers, equivalent to one of the most expensive skins in the game's online shop. Presumably those coins will have actual value once Lex Luthor takes over the world? Gotta happen any day now, right?
You either live with the choices you make, or die trying to change them.
Now, you might think that the Suicide Squad debacle was pretty shameful, but it could always be worse. It could be Anthem. Anthem was another multiplayer live service game made by a studio more accustomed to making single-player adventures, namely BioWare. Back in 2019, Anthem publisher EA offered early access to Anthem demos as part of their pre-order bonus. These demos were, as you'd expect, selected portions of the game to give you a taste of Anthem before you dove in for real. If you pre-ordered, you got access to an early VIP demo for 3 days in January 2019, a month before the game came out. But the early access version of the demo was far from fit for purpose, suffering from both full servers and an infinite loading screen bug, which meant that many players didn't get to play for the full time allotted, which very much sucked for anyone who planned their weekend around it. Now what are we supposed to play? The Resident Evil 2 remake? Actually, that does sound pretty good. To apologise for failing to deliver the promised pre-order bonus, developer BioWare gave everyone who participated an additional new vinyl, which is what Anthem called skins, at launch. This didn't placate angry pre-ordering fans who felt they'd been used as guinea pigs for the open demo, which was accessible by the general public, that took place the weekend after. Hey, at least the VIP pre-order players got to sample 2 extra Javelin exosuits that time around, so at least they got something for their money. Which could not be said for the players who pre-ordered the game after that 3-day public demo had been and gone. As shown by this confusing matrix of bullshit, people who pre-ordered Anthem after the end of the public demo were not entitled to any more chances to play Anthem early. You might have been entitled to play the game early in the following early access or play first trial phases if you were paying a monthly subscription to EA Access or Origin Access, but honestly, I'm looking right at this table and even I can't say for sure. Speaking of confusion, if you hadn't quit your job to stay on top of the evolving Anthem pre-order situation full time, you might have seen this official graphic after the demos had come and gone, and pre-ordered Anthem assuming it was telling the truth and you'd still get some VIP access to pre-launch demos because there are no dates on it. This whole complicated mess necessitated sites like IGN to write a guide for pre-order schemes, like it was Jonathan Blow's The Witness. Only here could they discover that early access was well over and they were too late to partake. I guess EA needed to bring in a pre-order? On second thought, let's not give them any ideas.
one thing vitally important to Fallout New Vegas' courier, it's to be prepared, something he has in common with the Scouts. And Scar from The Lion King. To this end, depending on where players pre-ordered their copy of Fallout New Vegas, they would receive various bundles of items to help them in the early part of the game. GameStop purchasers got access to the Classic Pack, Steam and Walmart customers to the Caravan Pack, Best Buy shoppers got the Mercenary Pack, and Amazon buyers got access to the Tribal Pack. Not included, sadly, is the one that Benny seems to have access to, the Rat Pack.
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig?
However, there was one item within one of these packs that left some players wanting, specifically wanting to never use it again. Within the Classic Pack, you got the weathered 10mm pistol, a unique weapon that, unlike most of the unique weapons in the game, could be modified with upgrades and attachments. But, oh no, anyone that did modify it was in for a bad time. Not long after the launch of Fallout New Vegas, GameStop purchasers ran to game forums to report an issue whereupon adding a modification to the weathered 10mm pistol would mean that whenever they equipped that gun, it wouldn't appear on screen. Instead, the screen would go orange, and entering third-person view would reveal that this was because their character was covered in a giant sideways exclamation point, like a drunk NPC with a side quest. Most likely, assets showing the weathered 10mm pistol with mods either hadn't been designed or couldn't be displayed. Not long after this issue became clear, the overstretched developers at Obsidian simply made it so no modifications could be seen on the weathered 10mm pistol once applied, in a quick and easy workaround from an exhausted team who had just been forced to make a game in 18 measly months. Pre-order folks were not the only ones affected, because less than a year after release, all the pre-order packs were bundled together by Bethesda in the Courier's Stash DLC. And seeing as the problem hadn't been solved in the intervening time, plenty more people also paid for a broken, unfinished gun. Still not as bad as Fallout 76, when people paid for a broken, unfinished game. Hey, it's better now. It's just fun to bully Fallout 76. Todd Howard's doing all right, hanging out with Walton Goggins.
I don't know which is the best spaceship in No Man's Sky, unless, do they have the one that goes to hell in Event Horizon?
No.
No. Well, in that case, yeah, I don't know which is the best spaceship in No Man's Sky. However, I do know which isn't the best spaceship in No Man's Sky, and it's the ship you got as a pre-order bonus if you pre-ordered the game back in 2016 when it first came out for PS4 and PC.
Why do you want a spaceship that goes to hell?
What's with all the questions? Note to self, get Andy first. If you pre-ordered the game on PS4, you received the impressive sounding Alpha Vector, also known in-game as Domanish S-84. If you pre-ordered the game on PC, you got the Horizon Omega, which resembles that legendary starfighter of Star Wars fame. That's right, it's the Z-95 Headhunter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the X-Wing.
Memo to self, get Andy oh, I've already written it. Anyway, the No Man's Sky pre-order ship came with a hyperdrive pre-installed. In theory, this meant that by redeeming your pre-order bonus to make this your starter ship, you could bypass the bit where you obtain your first hyperdrive and zoom off into the depths of space that much faster. In practice, it just saved you from spending a little bit of time playing a game that presumably you did actually want to play, having pre-ordered it, and beyond that it didn't have any substantial advantages over the starter ship that everybody else got. Not only that, but the ship wasn't unique and you could pick up basically the same one later in the game without pre-ordering. Not only that, but some players contended that the pre-order ship was worse than the default starter ship. And hey, don't take it from them, take it from Sean Murray, founder of No Man's Sky developer Hello Games, who had this to say about the pre-order bonus ship in an official No Man's Sky launch livestream.
This is like our pre-order version. So that's the ship you get when you pre-order if you want to do that. And the weapon that you get. I sound like I'm on like some sort of sales. You know,
this ship can be yours.
I'm gonna say something really bad. You can like choose to get that ship or that weapon, like whenever you want through the game, and I sort of prefer to play like without that for the initial bit.
Yeah, stops you skipping.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
So there you have it, folks. It's fine.
You might be struggling to think what digital pre-order bonuses a Pokemon game would offer its fans. Some kind of unique in-game baseball cap, a rare pre-order exclusive Pokemon called, I don't know, Pre-Ordero? A personalised voice note from Pikachu?
Pikachu?
Mike.
Pika Pika.
Best $100 I've ever spent.
Well, if you're struggling, don't worry, because Nintendo clearly struggled too, as evidenced by the pre-order bonuses they offered for the most recent main series Pokemon game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Different retailers were provided with different pre-order bonuses because this is the fragmented hellscape in which we live now, but none of them were much to write home about, especially if you're a Pokemon trainer who'd been kicked out of your home age 10 to enter the brutal world of competitive animal fighting. You gotta write home with results, or not at all. Champions of the Disappointment League, however, had to be Amazon and Best Buy, who were offering digital incentives so weak that I've had to invent the word bincentive to describe them. Because the trash bin is exactly where that code email is heading as soon as it hits my inbox. Amazon's was the slightly better offering of the two in that it was a lackluster selection of healing items, including the game's worst potion, some antidotes I guarantee no one will ever use, and a handful of revives that might come in handy if you're bad at Pokemon. Best Buy couldn't even match that, however, offering players 6 digital berries that look like they've just been swept off the floor of a Cabo Poco grocery store. Each of these berries has a specific function, none of which you're likely to want or need, and even if you don't want to use them, they're essentially worthless, with a sell price of 20 Pokemon monies. My advice? Wait until the game's price comes down, then use the money you save to buy some actual berries, which have the benefit of being delicious, full of antioxidants, and, crucially, extant. More like worse by.
Introducing the pinnacle of Pecha, the mythical Pecha Berry. That vivid skin, that lustrous glow. Pokemon just can't say no.
Thanks for watching this video from Outside Extra. I've been Jane and she was Ellen. She's still here.
Hi.
This video was about the pre-order bonuses that weren't worth your time or effort. You know, the effort.
kind of in this one.
Oh, Andy's also still here.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, well done, Andy. Flowers, flowers, flowers.
You sort your own stuff from off camera next time. I'm out of here.
And all right, okay. Andy is sulking. I have to go and apologise. But in the meantime, while I do that, you can watch this video from Outside Extra, or this video from Outside Xbox, which is me and Andy, and also Mike sometimes. But you know, he does what he likes.
And it does kind of look like an X-wing.